you ever wondered, how can I increase the quality of the retargeting audiences I'm building from my sales pages, my webinar pages, my video pages, or even my blog posts? If I'm actually got long copy blog posts I'm creating, how can I create better audiences based on the content that I have on my website? Well, that's what today's video is about. I'm going to show you how to do it using Google Tag Manager and the Facebook Pixel. Check it out. Okay, in this video we're going to setting up a retargeting tag in Google Tag Manager to track people that have spent a certain amount of time on the web page. And one of the ways you could use this is if you're actually doing, let's say you have a sales video or you have a webinar page, it's an automated webinar page. You could use this tag to actually retarget people that had spent 50% of the time of your webinar on the page itself. Or in this case, what we're doing is based on the time on page. If they're reading content, so if it's a long copy content or a long sales page, spending 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 15 seconds lets us gauge the quality of the people that we're retargeting based on how much time they spent on the page. So here we are in Google Tag Manager, and I've already set up our base pixel tag. So one of the ways that we use Google Tag Manager is we set up the base pixel first. So this pixel just has our Facebook pixel code in it, and that loads on all pages. And then if we're doing something different for event tracking, the standard events within Facebook, we set up a separate tag for that and load it conditionally. And I'll show you how I'm doing that here in just a second. So what we need next is we actually need our event code. And so this is a new pixel that I set up for one of our ad accounts. The easiest way to get an event code is to go through the setup. So we're just going to click on the setup button. We're going to say manually install code. And this is the base pixel code that we've already applied, so we don't need this anymore. We just click continue. And then it gives us an option to set up events as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to set it up as a view content event. So we just toggle that event over, and it gives us the option to also send parameters. We're not going to send a value or currency with it, but we're going to send an additional parameter of content type. And this time it's going to be a 5-second view is what we're going to add there. So when we build our retargeting list, we can choose view content as the event, and then we can refine it by a content type of 5-second view or 10-second view or whatever we use for that value. So we have the code here. We're just going to copy that code by clicking on it. Go back over to Google Tag Manager, create a new tag. And we're going to call this 5-second page view. Put in our tag code as a custom HTML. And then one thing that we do that is going to be a little bit different than some people do, a lot of people put in their base pixel code and their whatever event that they're having on the page within the same code segment and the same tag. What we do is actually use the advanced settings. We only have our specific events out on its own, and no matter what, we know that the base pixel code is tracking those page views on all the pages on our site without having any kind of extra code being there. So we use tag sequencing. So we're going to fire a tag before the 5-second page view, and we're going to fire our Facebook base pixel code. And then you can also check this box that if for whatever reason the Facebook base pixel code failed, it wouldn't load this additional tracking pixel as well. And then what we're going to do in this case, we're going to create a new trigger. And this is going to be a 5-second timer. So a little bit different than the page views like we normally use. In this case, we're going to go down to the bottom to the other trigger types to timer. Its event name is just going to be the GTM.timer. The interval here is in milliseconds. So if it's a 5-second timer, it's going to be 5,000 milliseconds. We're going to limit it to fire on this page once. And then you can also restrict it. Let's say you wanted to restrict it to a certain domain or different things like that. In this case, we will. We're going to restrict it, in this case, to having a page URL with kevindavis.com in it. So it will only fire on that site. You could leave that out as well. And then we save that. It's now has the 5-second timer. And then we save this as well. And then to make these changes available, what we need to do is actually submit it and just make sure I don't see a firing trigger here. So if I look at the 5-second page views, just make sure we do have that there. So it's probably because it's a new trigger, and that's why it's not showing up. So we'll submit it. And when you go to publish, you can give it a name if you want. That helps in the version control, and you can actually roll back your changes within Google Tag Manager. Okay, so those changes are made. If we go back and look at our tags, we'll probably see now the firing trigger is there because it exists. And then these are currently under unfiled. If you wanted to file this, you could add folders here as well. And just to show you how you do that, there next to the name is a folder. We're going to create a new folder and just call it page timers. And so now to see all this happen, we're going to put this in preview mode. So now we're in preview mode. And if I go out to kevindavis.com, we'll then see the page load and the debugger will come up. And right now we have the base pixel and then the 5-second one just loaded as well. And since it's using a content category, it's thinking that it's associated with a product catalog, but that doesn't matter because we're not associating with a product catalog. But we do see the content type of 5-second views is here. And then if we go back over to our pixel, so one way that you can actually see the event, even though the event's not showing up here, we're just seeing a page view. If we click on the new analytics, the view analytics link here, that'll take you over to the Facebook analytics. And then we can look at events. So we had one unique user. If we look at events, we can then see the content view here. They've had 2 content views. Click on that. There's not enough data there to actually show you demographic information, but that is the content views. So if we wanted to then take that and duplicate it, let's say for make a 15-second timer and a 30-second timer, what we can do is just click on the trigger, copy it, and just 15, and then we're going to edit the time interval here to be 15,000. Then we're going to copy that as well. Say 30-second timer and change the interval to 30,000. So now we have our triggers set up. We can then also duplicate the view code. So then we're going to change our content type to 15 seconds. And then we're going to change our trigger, remove the 5-second trigger, and we're going to add the 15 second. And then we're going to duplicate that. Create a 30-second page view. Change the content type to 30-second view. And then change it to the 30-second. And now we have 3 timers set up. And so one of the things with the way that page loaded, it looked like the 5-second timer was instantaneously. We should see the other ones load well here. And so to do that, we're going to go back and put it in preview mode after we've published our changes. And we're going to hit enter on the page to reload it. And so the 5-second one just fired, and the 15 and 30 haven't fired yet. Now the 15-second fired. Up here, we can see 2 view contents. One is the 5-second view, and one is the 15-second view. And now the 30-second view is also fired. So now we have 3 different view content. So what we can do now is we can actually retarget people that had spent up to 30 seconds on the page.
Hey everybody, Kevin Davis here from PaidTraffic.com, and I hope you liked the video. If you did, smash the like button for us. That helps us out. If you want more videos like this, be sure to subscribe up here. Or if you would like to see another video, I've picked one out that you might like over here as well. So check those out. If you have any questions regarding this video, let me know in the comments. If you have some ideas for other videos for us to do, other topics for us to cover in paid traffic, Google Analytics, Google Tag Manager, anything like that, shoot us a message up on Twitter at PaidTrafficLab. That's at PaidTrafficLab on Twitter. Till next time, we'll see you later.